Let's start this video by looking at the effect of the device we're about to take to bits. It's a sort of fireplace simulator with an LED light source and what I thought was going to be an electronic effect, but in reality it turns out to be a motorized effect. You can hear the motor rotating and it's kind of too smooth and detailed to be a raw electronic effect. So let's take a closer look and open this up. So the first surprise will probably be the size of this unit, because although it looks like a full-size fireplace, it is just a little lantern type device that has that visual effect inside it. And it runs off 3 AAA batteries in the base here, and it has 2 options. It's got the on, off or timer mode, so it will turn on for about 6 hours and then turn off 18 hours later. No, it turns on for 6 hours, turns off and then comes on again 18 hours later, which means that whatever time you set it for, it will just turn on at that time every night. And looking at this, the first thing I'm noticing is that the construction, they've been a bit odd. It's a bit cracked. I don't know if it's, but I was going to say I don't know if it's in transit, but it looks like at the factory they've kind of not quite got this together right, and it's actually split there. And I'm not sure if that's going to actually clip back in. I don't know if it's screwed on. I don't see any screws. I can see screws around the base, but I can see the top kind of clips on. And I was going to say I don't think it's going to come off, but there it goes. Okay. Splintered plastic, and that is well bent and it's not really good quality manufacturing. Let's turn this on again and see the effect of the device inside. So inside is, let's zoom in this. It's 2 LEDs. Is that kind of visible? Yes, it is. Let's zoom down and let's focus down that. It's 2 LEDs down here lighting the back of the effect, and then it's just this motor rotating, geared motor rotating these little sort of metallized plastic fins. And it does make a loud noise when it comes around, because there's one of those fins is occasionally touching, this one here is occasionally touching the mounting posts of the motor. And looking down into this, I'm seeing that the circuit board of the LEDs actually has, well, let's see if we can get it, let's see if we can get more of this to bits. This bit slides out. Will this slide out? Yes, here's this fireplace split. And this bit I've already deduced does appear to be glass from the colour. It's got that slight greenish tint to it. And it's held in by these pillars. Okay, let's take the bottom off. So I shall just focus back onto this so it's in sharp focus, or as sharp as we can get. And we shall undo these screws and see if we can remove the whole mechanism from the inside. It's quite neat. I've got a feeling that this is working the same way as many of the sort of real sort of flame effect fires, the sort of electric heaters with the sort of fake coals, because I've seen a very similar effect, and I guess it is just those little mylar fins. Those screws aren't coming out. That might be because I'm using a slightly oversized screwdriver. Maybe I should get the right size, or maybe I should just bludgeon on regardless. It's coming out. No, it's not coming out. What about this one? Is that a better size? Yeah. Actually, the screw's just spinning. Okay. Is that going to help? Let's put some pressure up on it and then try it. It looks like it's just been stripped. Oh, it's all going horribly wrong. Not as wrong as the next video where we've already just broken something spectacularly. Okay, so this does lift out. That's quite neat. What do we have? We have the circuit board, which looks like just 2 parallel strips. Do you think it was designed to take another LED? Not sure about that. I think the wires may have been designed to attach onto there, and another LED would have been across there. Here's the little motor. I could turn this on. Turning those little mylar strips, which are just, I wonder why they specifically chose those shapes. It must have been through trial and error to get the effect. They're kind of fish shaped. Strange. And then there's a little circuit board with a crystal because this is the timer function. So there is a resistor here. Is this in correct focus? Let's just dot down onto there. It's better. So the circuit board, there is a low value resistor here, which is a bit disappointing because it's 4.5 volts. It's not getting too hot, but it is running the LEDs and the motor. Hold on, I can actually test those. Just give me a second. Okay, so apparently the current is only about 33 milliamps anyway. That's nothing. But then again, these little motors only draw about 10 milliamps. And the rest will be shared amongst the LEDs. That's much lower than expected. But that's a good result. Let's get the little circuit board and see if there's anything visible on it. To see if there's any interesting circuitry, though I'm not really expecting an awful lot. Let's turn the power off to get rid of the distraction. Let's see if we can get that screw out. They've just kind of mushed the wires and that resistor over there. So there's a couple of screws holding this on. I'm expecting a switch, maybe a blob, a chip on board, or maybe an actual little chip. And the crystal. I kind of would have expected the blob in the bottom here. Oh, they've got a little 8-pin chip. So here's a little 8-pin chip. Let's see if we can get closer to this. This is where I shall stick it up on top of this. We shall zoom down and then we shall focus. Again, I'm traveling with work at the moment, so it's just kind of like trying to make do with what I can in this sort of like portable studio aspect. That should be focused. So we've got a little 8-pin chip here with what look like a couple of decoupling capacitors. Those decoupling capacitors are for the crystal, for stability. We've probably got a power supply decoupling capacitor there. We've got a resistor feeding the transistor, which then switches the load. And this resistor here limits the current to the circuit board, which is just basically the motor and 2 LEDs. It's very simple, but you know what? It's actually very effective. This is a nice little unit. So that's more or less it. The effect of the flames is partly this plastic, which is probably chosen to just barely allow the light through to sort of glow gently. But then there's this translucent orange panel which will colour the light because they are sort of warm white LEDs, and that then gives the orange colour while also diffusing it and acting as a sort of rear projection screen. Very neat, very odd little product, particularly given the sort of lantern shape and the sort of strange hang hook effect. It's an odd little thing, but well worth buying just to take to bits and see what was inside. You know what else I could do? Just to finish the video, I could just turn this on, turn the light out, and let's turn the light out. Let's take the exposure off. Oh yeah, that's quite good. And try and focus down there. Oh, it's a bit swamping out, but it's a good visual effect. Quite smart indeed.